Welcome to Java JSON, and in this video we are going to talk about what is the list implemented classes and how we can use it. Okay, so as of now whatever I have covered, please try to understand and also write a code for that, and whatever the practicals I am doing and whatever the codes I am written my Eclipse, same thing you have to also write and you have to practice it. Then only you can get some idea. Okay, we can write like that and we can do the work with this one. Okay, so in the previous classes we have already discussed like what is the collection, what are the list are available in the collections, what are the hierarchy, and in that hierarchy we are talking about the list. Okay, so list is capable to store the duplicate data. List is a something like collections will be there are several way and subclasses are the available in that list interface. Okay, we have already discussed it. So here if you see we have a array list, linked list, vector and a stack. So those are the implemented classes or subclasses of list interface, and we have already see all those things like how a list will look like, how array list will look like. So let me go to the Eclipse and I will explain what is the array list and how array list will work. Okay, in the previous video I have discussed how to create an object for the array list and how we can store the data inside this. Okay, but now we can discuss these things like array list is a reusable resizable array implementations of the list interface. It allow for the fast random access. So we can discuss like how it's a resizable, how it will do the random access, and how it's maintain the dynamic memory also. Dynamic memory grow on the shrink as needed. So let me go to the Eclipse and we can do all those things. So in the yesterday examples, or you can say in the previous video, we have discussed we have created one array list object, and inside this array list object we have stored any type of the data which is heterogeneous, homogeneous, unique, duplicate. All those type of the data you can store inside this, that is called a collections. Okay, but now I'm going to remove all those things. Okay, and I will show you. Okay, for example, I have given one array list here and I don't want to give any typecasting, so it's a normal way to create a array list object, and we have created it. Now I will add some value. So there is no specify here what is the size of array list, but in the array we have to specify. So here you can see there is no size, so we can add one numbers. Okay, so let me add the 10. Okay, I will add one more number, so I will call the methods and I will add the 20. So you are able to see I am able to add the numbers also inside this, and you can print it. Okay, as many numbers we want we can add and we can print. If you want to delete some numbers, so adding the number and it's growing whatever the numbers I have added, it's automatically growing and it's storing the data. That is called resizable. Auto resizable. Okay, automatics memory is incrementing. Auto resizable or growable, you can see growable in nature. So growable in nature, that is called a collection. Okay, growable, grow, growable. Okay, so this is the two things it's doing. If I want to remove some data, so I can write a dot remove and I will give the some particular index. So I will give the index number 1, because whatever the value you store inside the list, it's internally store the value in one array. So it will create a one array, and inside the array it will start storing the value. So what is the array index point, which is 0 or which is started with the 0. So right now in the array list we have a two value which is 10 and 20. So 0 index number and 1 index number we have. So I told like a dot remove index number 1. So 20 will remove. Let me print. Okay, let me print. So you can see 20 is removed and only 10 will be printed. Okay. So it's auto decrease also, auto increment, auto decrement size of the array will happen. You no need to do anything. Okay. And as much as value you want to store inside this, you can store, no issue. Okay. So this is the method we have seen, like add the data inside these collections, remove the data inside these collections. If we want to fetch some data which is particular, right now I am printing all those data, but I don't want to print all data. What I can do, I can write a dot get. We have a get methods, and get method will do the work on the based on the index number. So I want to print index number 1, so we can print it. So index number 1 is nothing but 10 value. It will come 10. If you try to fetch the index number 1 and index number 1 is not available, so what will happen? Let me see. Okay, because we have already removed the index number 1 value. Okay, and if you are trying to fetch it, it's giving the exception. Let me see. Index out of bound exceptions, like array we are getting the exceptions only. Index of 1 out of bound exception for the length 1. Okay, though this is the things you have to worry about and you have to know about it also. Okay, and that is very important. Okay, that is very important also. Okay, so I hope you understood. Okay, so if you remove this line, or if you comment this line, then only you can able to see those value. Okay, so if you see, here is the 10 and here is the 20 value, you can see. And if you print all those whole array list, if you print A, so it will look like in the different way, which is a square bracket and all those data. So internally it will call the two string methods. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Okay, as of now it's clear. So we understood why array list, or we can say collection, is auto resizable, auto growable. Okay, and one more things we have discussed, like this is the resizable array implementations of the list interface. Okay, so resizable we have already seen. It's allow for the fast random access and has a dynamic size that can grow and shrink needed. So dynamic access means this one, we can access the value with the help of the index number. Okay, that is called dynamic access and fast access. For example, we have to fetch some value from the array, so we can call a dot get and we can give the index number, so those index number value it will return. Okay, so this is called a fast random access. Okay, this is called fast random access. Random access. Fast random access. So we have seen all those things. Okay, and we have understood what is the array list also. Let me comment this line of the code. Okay, commented. Let me go to the next one example. So next one is like linked list. So I hope you know the linked list. So there are three types of the linked list are available in the data structure. One is singly linked list, doubly linked list, and a circular linked list. So this is the linked list list implementations of the list interface. This is a linked list implementation of the list interface. It allows for the fast insertion and deletions, but we can insert the data in the fastly here insertion and deletions, but can be slower for the random access. Slower means like it's not giving the better performance while access some data. Okay, so this is the issue having a linked list. And this is the advantage also, like insertion will be very fast and deletion will be very fast. Okay, but let me explain what is the linked list, what are the type of the linked list are the availables. Okay, and if you know the data structure linked list, then easily you can connect with this one and we can understood what is the linked list. So basically linked list will be collections of the nodes. Okay, so if I talk about the singly linked list, so single linked list is something like it's create one node and multiple nodes are the connected with each other based on the address. That is called a singly linked list. Okay, in the doubly linked list we have a two address, previous node and next node also we are storing in the one node. So that is called a doubly linked list. And circular linked list means it's look like a doubly linked list, but the last element will be connected with the first element. That is called a circular linked list. Okay, so here in the Java they are not using any other linked list. He using only the singly linked list. Okay, and he implemented the singly linked list and he given the directly class to use it. But if you go with the DSA, so we have to create your own linked list and you can do work on that. Okay, but here in the collection framework, it's provide the very important thing is like you don't want to worry about how to create a linked list. He already created a linked list classes and he given the as a bonus all those method to operate this linked list also. Okay, so let me go to the Eclipse. Okay, and here I'm going to write something like a linked list. So this is the linked list. If you see here java.util.classes packages, so this is the linked list. Okay, so if I want to create an object for the linked list, I can write L equal to new linked list. Okay, and simply enter. So it will create one linked list for us. But if you go with the DSA in the scratch level, you have to create one on linked list and then you have to implement it. Everything you have to do your own. But in the collection framework, for the user experience, or you can say developer, it's a very easy to create a linked list object and do the data manipulation inside this. Okay, here if you see, let me go to the linked list first. Okay, so control and open the license of the linked list. So you can see this is the linked list class, public class linked list, and extended the abstract sequential linked list and implement the list dequeue clonable from the serializables. Okay, and also serializables. So this is the node which is transient node first and transient node last, and this is the size. He declared 3 variable inside this, and he created one default constructors with collection constructor. He created link first. Okay, so we have some methods here, and based on those methods we can do the operations in that. Link before. Okay, unlink. Let me press Ctrl O and we can see all those methods. Okay, so here if you give like get first, get last, remove first, remove last, add first, add last, these are the methods are available in the linked list. If you go and if you see like add method is also available, remove method is also available, add collection method is also available, add all method is also available. So basically we are doing work with like add methods, remove method, size method, contains method, add first last, remove first last. So these are the method is very useful and we are using it. Okay, so I hope you understood those method we can use and we can create our linked list object. So we have already created the linked list object here. Okay, now I want to store some data inside this. So what I will do, I will write L dot add and inside that I will pass 10. So for 10, one node will be created. One node will be created. And what will happen? Those node having a one address and one is actual value. I will explain if it is required using the diagram also. What is the linked list exactly? And L dot add. L dot add of 30 I have stored here, and L dot add something like 60 I will store here. So these are the value I have stored, and if I try to print it, if I try to print it as out, and I will print L. So L will be printed in the ordered data. Ordered data means first 10, 30 and 16. Based on the insertion order, it will store the data inside this linked list. Okay, so we have created the object for the linked list, and we have stored the data also inside this, and now we have printed also. Linked list having some methods I will explain you. Okay, if I write here L dot add first means like I want to add my object into the first positions, not into the last. By default, if you add, it will go to the last, but I want to add into the first. For example, I want to add the 5. Okay, and I know I already added some value which is 10, 30, 60. So this is the order, and then it will come 5, but I'm preparely I have written here like first, add first method. So in the linked list only having a method though, like add first, add last. If you run this method, you can see it's added in the first positions, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, if I say add last, so I can add dot add last. I can use this one, add last, and I will add 1 in the last. If I run this, you can see add last, so it's added in the last positions. Okay, 1 is added in the last position. So like that we have so many methods. L dot remove first, remove last, we have a methods also. So if I call like remove first, and I will not pass anything, it will remove the first element, which is 5. Let me see. So if you see like 5 is removed, I can call remove last. Okay, so L dot remove last, we have a method first and last. So if I remove last, it will remove the last, which is 1. Okay, and now if I tell just remove with the index number, is it possible? Just I will call the remove method. So I think this one is also remove the last element, which is 60. We have now, if I call the remove, it will start removing from the first only. So first position element is removed. Okay, so I hope you understood, like those are the method, and through that method only we can operate our linked list. Okay, and the behavior will be same, like whatever you understood what is the linked list. Okay, do one thing, I will explain the what is the linked list. Okay, so array list is similar to the array. Array list is similar to the array, but only difference is like these things. Array size is fixed, similar type of the data, and there is no predefined method for the array. But in the array list having all those. Okay, so these are the array list. Let me write array list. So this is the array list, and array list having those benefits. So based on your condition or situation, you can take the array list or linked list. Both are similar, only difference is this point. Okay, let me go with the linked list. Okay, linked list. So linked list is totally different from those. Okay, a linked list is one of the data structure concept. Okay, I hope you know. And whenever we talk about the, like, we have a three types of the linked list. I have already told you. One is singly linked list. Singly, SINGLY, singly or single linked list, we can say singly linked list. Okay, same thing, we have a doubly linked list. So we have a doubly linked list. Same thing, we have a circular linked list. Linked list. So these are the three types of the linked lists are the available in Java. In Java, not Java, in the data structure we can say, and like only we are using the singly linked list here. Okay, so if you talk about the singly linked list, so mainly we are using those only, singly linked list only. Okay, and it's implemented in the singly linked list based on the singly linked list only. What is the linked list? Linked list is a collections of nodes. If I write a linked list is a collection of nodes. So basically linked list is a collections of node, and each node having value and next node address. That is the definition of collections, linked list, you can say. Okay, how it will look like? So for example, I have created some linked list. Okay, so this is the one node, this is the second node I have created, this is the third node I will created, this is the fourth node I will created. Okay, so these are the node will be created, and every node is divided into the two part. If it is singly linked list, divided into the two part. Okay, and one node will be stored. So whenever you add one data inside this linked list, what will happen? This node will be created, and whatever the value you given, those value will be stored inside this. Okay, so this node address will store here. So for example, this is the value and this is the address. We have two cell here. So one is value, one is address. So for example, you stored 10, so 10 will be stored here, and this will is null. Right now null. Once you this address, for example, this address, this having some address, this node having some address, so those address will be stored. For example, the address will be 1010, so this will be a start and store in the L, and L is nothing but it's a one of the variable which is storing the address of the first node. Okay, and address of the first node is nothing but 1010. Okay, so L is able to store the 1010, and through that it will point this particular nodes, and each node having a value and address. We can say key and value also. So address is nothing but key only. This is nothing but key only. So we can say key or value also. We can say key and address also. And once you store the first node, it will look like that. Again, if you store some another data, for example, first time we have added 10. Okay, L dot add 10. Again, if I add L dot 30, so what will happen here? It will create one more node, and here it will store 30. Okay, and here will be null, as of now null, and again whatever the address having this node 1011, this address will be stored inside this previous key will be stored the address. So what will happen, this null will gone. Okay, and here it will store, here it will store a level this address. So this node is automatically point to this one. Understood? Again one more node will be inserted. For example 60 we have inserted. So once you store the 60 here, it will point the null, right? And it's having a some address which is like 10 12, and this address will be stored here. So this value will be removed first, this null will gone, and here it will store the value, and also link will happen. Okay, and this value will be stored here 10 12. Okay, so like that it will work, and like that it will create a link between one node to next node to third node to fourth node, like that. How much node if you store? Only the things is linked list is a collections of the nodes, so all are the separate node you can say, but all those nodes having a one connection which is based on the key address, okay, which is the next node. So all the previous node will be pointed to the next node, so that we can understood this is the linked list. Okay, I hope you understood. Let me go to the here's, and we have see so many methods are available in the linked list, and we can do operations on that. And one more things which is very important points I need to tell you so that you can remember it. In the interview room, so many interviewers are asking what is the difference between array list and linked list, and that is very important question in the interview. So for your point of view, what is the difference between array list and linked list as of now? So if you see here, it's properly mentioned here. List is a the linked list is a implementation of the list interface, and this one is also implementation of the list interface. So in the look likewise, both are same, both are able to store the data, any kinds of the data. Okay, both are the homogeneous, heterogeneous, everything, but the difference is it allow for the fast insertion and deletions. Linked list is allow fast insertion and deletions. Let me open. Okay, let me go here. If you see here, it's clearly mentioned here list interface. It's allow for the fast insertion and deletions, but can be slower for the random access. So you can say to the interviewer, hey, both are good, but based on the situation we can take array list and linked list. We can take the array list when we have to random access of the data, because linked list like array list will be allow fast random access and dynamic size shrink needed. Okay, so that time you can go with the array list. But if you want to insert and delete data, those operations we have to do more, then we can go with the linked list. But whenever we want random access data, we can go with the array list. So this is the one differences I have show you as of now. Later I will give you so many differences and so many things you can speak in front of the interviewer, but as of now that is enough. Okay, let's go to the vectors. So as of now you understood what is the linked list and what is the vector, we can see. So vector, this is a synchronized implementation of the list interface. Synchronize. But before going to do anything, let me store some value like I want to store here l dot add. I want to add something like Java is awesome. Okay, so I am storing the string object inside the linked list. That is possible? Yes, possible. That is possible or not? So this is something we have added and removed. So let me remove those things. Now we can see 5, 10, 31, Java is JSON all are added. So it will accept the any type of the data, but make sure you have not given the typecasting. If you give the object typecasting only, then only it will store, otherwise no. Okay, so I hope you understood those things also. Let me comment it. Control Shift slash. Okay, so this is the comment we have done. Now we can discuss about vector. So vector is one of the classes which is list implementations. So vector, and let me create an object for the vectors. So v equal to new vector. Okay, so I have created the object for that, and let me add some values. So vector dot add 10. I will add some value dot add Java, add v dot add some float value. I will try to add here now. Okay, so this is the value I have added, and simply I can print it. So those are the inbuilt class already available inside the JDK. So because of that, we are taking the benefit of those classes. We are not creating our own. But if you have to create your own, you have to write lot of the logic and lot of the, like you have a knowledge on that, then only you can write the efficient method to add the data, remove the data, and we can write our own class vector. Okay, but that is not writing a code again in your Java, because it's already provided, so no need to write a double times of the codes and again do it. Okay, so you can just use the implemented only, which is already available. So we have created the object of the vectors, you can see. So in the same way how I created the object of the array list, linked list, same thing I will create the object for the vector also. We have the same method for the add the data also. Okay, and we have printed also. Okay, that is fine. But let me check like what are the methods are they available inside this. So just select these vectors and control and mouse over on it, so you can see the option called open documentation. Click on open documentation and you can see this vector classes implementations. So public class vector extend abstract list, implement the list, random access, clonable or serializables. So this is the object, element data, this is the element count, capacity increment, this is the something value. We can see the like vector constructor, which is initial capacity and capacity incremented we can give here. We can see another constructor which is the initial capacity you can give, vector default, vector collection will take, copy into, time to zones, Okay, so those are the constructor and methods are available. You can see directly here also. So those are the constructor 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 constructors are available for the vectors. Okay, if you go down, you can see like set size, capacity, size, is empty. Those are the methods are available. Contains methods are available. Also, if you go down, you can see the like index of, last index of object. Okay, those are the method. If you go down, you can see some remove method and add method also you can see. So this is the add and object array, add one more methods. Okay, so this is the two add methods, remove method, clear method, contains all methods. Okay, go down, go down, go down. So those are the methods are the available inside this, you can see. Okay, as of now. So whatever the method we have see as of now, those we can use and we can try to do the operations on that. Okay, you understood how to open the vectors. So as of now we have added some data, so we can see, yeah, we are able to see the data. Let me remove some data. So you can give the index value. So for example, 0 index means we have given the 10, we have to remove the 10. Okay, so 10 will be removed, I think. So 10 is removed here, you can see. Okay, let me check some other method also, like size methods. Okay, so I will print here s dot not s dot v dot size. So this is the size method will give what is the size of our vectors. Okay, so you can check the size of our vectors easily. So size of vector is 2 because already 110 is removed. Okay, then after we are checking the size. Okay, so I hope it is clear like how we are creating an object for the vectors and how it will work. Okay, but one things you have to remember it. Okay, go to the slides, I will tell you. So here if you see, here if you see in the vector section, this is a synchronized implementation. What do you mean by the synchronized? So we have seen while learning a keyword, that time I have discussed in Java having a one keyword called synchronize. Synchronize means whatever the data we have inside this vector, it will not allow to access all those thread or multiple thread at the same time. That is called synchronizations. Okay, so this is a synchronized implementation of the list interface that is similar to the ArrayList. It's similar, however it is rarely used in the modern Java development due to its synchronization overhead. So I think vector is came in 1.5. No, I don't think 1.0 only it's came. And the problem is with the vector is like this is the legacy classes. Legacy class means it's a very old classes. If I go to the Eclipse and if I show you when it came, so it's copyrighted 1994 21 Oracle and facility. If you go down, if you go down, what is the Java version? Okay. So since it's came 1.0, so author is Lee Boynton. This is the author and collections linked list. And since 1.0 it's available vector classes. Okay, I hope it is clear. So whatever the classes we have, you can see above the classes we have written all those details. Okay, so here you have see since 1.0 it's available. So in 1.0, like in the first release only it's came, but this is the legacy classes. Legacy classes means it's a very old, with very old classes. Okay, so because of that oldness, okay, and also it's a like we can say it's synchronized. So people are not using in the modern Java development. It's a very less use. Okay, so very less use. People are using the array list, linked list, but in the rarely if it is required, that time only they are using the vector, otherwise no. But you have to aware about it, like what is the vector. So if I talk about what is the array list, so array list is not synchronized, it's not a thread safe, but vector is a thread safe, vector is a synchronized. So these are the differences having a like array list and vectors. Okay, because array list is not thread safe, not synchronized, vector is a synchronized or thread safe both. Okay, but it's a very less use, you can say. And we have created the object for that, we have inserted some data inside this also, that is fine, we have understood. What about the stack? This is a subclasses of the vector that implement a last in first out LIFO, last in first out stack data structure. It's provide a push and pop operation for adding and removing the elements. So like stack does not having a some other method to do the operations. It will provide our own method, which is push and pop. Push means store the data inside this stack, and pop means remove the data and fetch the data or get the data from the from those stack, removing element from the top of the stack, adding and removing from the structure. So these are the something as stack. So I hope you learn in your college time what is a stack, what is queue, what is linked list, what is array list, what is vector, all those things. But you don't know the implementation, and maybe you are not able to implement those. So because of that, Java will come with the new things, which is collections of the data structure classes, and he provided us all those classes in the one package, which is collections, and we are using those. Okay, so let me tell the what is the stack. Go to the first Eclipse and create the object for the stack. Let me comment this one. Okay, and now I will create an object for a stack. Okay, so simply you can write a stack java.util stack and we can write a stack is equal to new stack. So object will be created. Let me remove this one also. So object will be created. I want to add some data, so we can do the operations with add also. Let me check it's happened or not. And let me out is okay, and let me print it. So if you see, we are able to add the data in 10 inside this also. But mainly people are doing work with the stack with the push and pop method only, and that is very nice. Okay, we have a something also other methods. Let me check. So s dot add index we can put, and remove method also we have a something like get methods. Yes, get method also have, but we are going to take the help of the push. Okay, so we have a push method. Let me store that 30. So if you store 30, it is stored inside this 10 and 30. Let me pop some of the value s out s dot pop or pick. So we have some method called like pick means just read the data and store the data, and pop means remove the data. So if I do the pop here, those data will be removed from the top only, first in last out. So first I have stored the 10, but it's removing the 10 first. It means first in last out. Okay, so what is the meaning? What is the meaning? first in, last out. It means the data will go to the first, it will come into the last. Okay, so first I have put it 10, then I have put it 30. Okay, so let me explain you first what is the exactly a stack. Okay, so if I explain the stack, you can see here, for example, we have created one stack object, sta, stack is equal to new stack. So we have created one object of the stack. So what will happen is, let me create one stack. So basically this is the stack, this is look like that. Okay, let me give something. So this is the stack, and the indexing of the stack will be started with the 0, you can say. Okay, so let me write 0, not from that one. If you insert some data, it will go down and it will store here, okay, in the initial point, so which is 0. If you go off, it will indexing will be 1. If you go off, indexing will be 2. If you go off, indexing will be 3. If you go off, indexing will be 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the index value we have given. Okay, so for example, if you are trying to add some data like s.add or s.push, so for example, you are storing the 10, s.add or push means store the data inside this 20. Okay, if you add some more data like s.push like 30, so this is the 3 data you have added here. So what will happen if you add from the top only? Okay, so this is not open, you just assume this is not open. You can store, push and pop data from that only. So if you want to push the data, if you want to push the data, you can push. If you want to pop the data, oh sorry, if you want to push the data, so you can write this one. That is not good here. And you can pop the data also. So pop the data also. So this is called push. I will write here. Push means store the data, and pop means remove the data. Remove data. Okay. So if you store 10, it will go here. So 10 we store, 20 will be stored, 30 will be stored. And if you write the pop, first 30 will be removed, then 20 will be removed, again 10 will be removed. It will not remove directly 10. So this is the way it will work. Okay, let me go to the Eclipse. Okay, and let me add some data which is push. So stack dot push 10 stack dot push 20. Okay, we have added 3 data, and now let me pop. So if you do the pop, just pop s dot pop and try to print it now. Yes, what will happen? It should remove the last value, which is 30 we have stored. So if I run it, you can see like this is the 30 only removed, which is the last we have inserted. So that's why I am saying first in whatever the first data we have in 10, 20, and last out. Last out means last data will be out. So like that it will behave, and it will do the work on the data. So whenever you required particular way to store and retrieve the data, you can implement the stack. Okay, so as of now we have covered all those things like list interface implementations. You have any doubt, please let me know, and we can discuss about it and we can try to resolve it. Thank you so much.